Online, I use the handles by summit attempt and summit attempt. Today I'm going to be doing a video looking at the 7 J5, J6 pipe bomb suspect videos that the FBI has released in their investigation. Only one of those videos was released by 2 sources. The WAPO released 4 videos on the 29th of January 2021. 815 was also released by the FBI. So we're going to be comparing the 2 releases to determine whether or not the FBI tampered with evidence in their own case. And then after that, we're going to look at the authenticity of all of the FBI videos that have been released to date in that case. And what I'm going to try and do is just give you a couple examples for each video as we go through it. I can easily get off track. I'll try not to do that too much, but there are some things to explain and we'll just see how it goes. Part 1, this section presents evidence showing that the FBI not only tampered with, lied about, and withheld evidence in their J5, J6 DC pipe bomb investigation, but that the tampering was premeditated and the FBI took steps to cover up their illegal actions after the fact. My work here stems from and is in furtherance of the dedicated and tireless effort of Darren J.B., publisher journalist at Revolver.News, to investigate FBI evidence tampering with DNC HQ CCTV recorded J5, J6 pipe bomb suspect footage. He was looking at specifically footage that came from the DNC security system, and what I'm going to be using was reported by the RNC. The FBI published 2 815 crop still frame images on J7, the larger size 1080p and the smaller size to be a crop from it. With this info and the FBI having not released 815 on J7 shows us they didn't want it released and staged these 2 image releases the day after J6 so that they wouldn't have to release the video. Here's how this works. The public sees these 2 pics. We see the smaller one, assume it was cropped from the larger one. And because the larger one was exactly 1080p, the argument then in everyone's mind would be, well, then that was the field of view. That was what it was recorded in, was 1080p. The FBI never explained this to us. They never explained that they were manually cropping from a larger image. They just put it out and left it that way. If the FBI had never released 815, we at least wouldn't be able to come to them and say, well, what was the size of the video? What was the quality of the video, right? That's what they were hoping to do, is just give us these 2 images. On January 11th, 2021, the FBI published a seeking info poster with 5 images. The largest was the cropped J7 FBI suspect image, and next to that, on the bottom, was an 815 cropped suspect shoe image of significantly better quality than what the FBI released on J7. This proves a higher quality recording of 815 exists, which proves the FBI tampered with case evidence by reducing the quality of their J7 published pipe bomb suspect cropped image releases. Since I broached the 815 shoe image topic, there are a few things I should cover. I've known for a year that this shoe image contains the payment known as Frazzledrip, only I didn't want to work on that until I knew why the FBI was lying about the shoes. For 3.5 years, the FBI told us the pipe bomb suspect was wearing Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes, but the logo on the tongue of this shoe isn't Nike. What logo do you see? I see the New Balance logo, and the FBI didn't miss this. Why aren't we to know that these are New Balance shoes? Well, it took me another solid week to work this out, but I now know why the FBI doesn't want us to know that these shoes are New Balance. The NB logo visible in this image was trimmed to read NP, which can only be a reference to Nancy Pelosi. The lower and right half of this logo sits an inch above. It was flipped and digitally edited so that they could create other letters to hide. So what we have here is a New Balance logo altered to create the last 3 words of a longer deep state column. Now, I've already told you this image contains the Frazzledrip payment image. Anyone remember who's in Frazzledrip? We have HRC, Hillary Clinton, right? Huma Abedin, the child, and a doctor. Was Nancy Pelosi the Frazzledrip doctor? According to the comm in this 815 crop pipe on a suspect shoe image she was. This comm says the Frazzledrip doctor was Nancy Pelosi, which is why the FBI didn't want the public to learn about the New Balance logo, because New Balance leads to Nancy Pelosi, which then shows America that Nancy Pelosi was the Frazzledrip doctor, and that this FBI published suspect shoe image contained the Frazzledrip payment still frame. On January 29th, 2021, the Washington Post published an independently obtained 815. This showed us that 815 was recorded having a field of view 200% larger than the FBI's J7 1080p released image. And if you take the largest image that the FBI released on J7, that large image of the suspect that they released, and then you take the field of view you get from the WAPO video and scale the WAPO background, the rest of the shot, up to match the 1080p that the FBI had cut their video from, that shot from, you get what is UHD TV exactly. You get 3840 by 2160, which I believe that this is evidence that the original recorded resolution for 815, and ergo for all videos recorded by the RNC's security system, right, was recorded at UHD TV, which is 3840 by 2160. WAPO's 815 had 331 still frames, displayed at 29.97 frames per second with a runtime of 10.77 seconds. Unfortunately, the quality of the WAPO video was worse than either of the FBI's J7 815 image releases, which shows us that the WAPO video resolution was reduced before it was released to the public. And so that means either the FBI, which is where they probably got it from, reduced the quality, or the RNC or the WAPO themselves. One of those three reduced the quality of that video before they published it. And finally, 8 months after J6, the FBI released their version of 815. It had a clearer image than the WAPO release, but it still doesn't match the quality of the suspect's shoe image we know was cropped from 815 footage. These facts support UHD 3840, 2160 being the recorded resolution for 815. Did the FBI tamper with case evidence in other ways? You know they did. Quick stats. The FBI took 8 months to publish their copy of 815. When they did, 49.999% of the field of view, the real-world area that is recorded, was cropped from it, and 69.5%, 230, of the 331 still frames that we get from the WAPO video had been removed from the video as well, in a non-consecutive manner. So it wasn't like they took every other still frame out. They took them out in different, varied sizes of clumps throughout the video to hide stuff. There's certainly stuff in this video that the FBI clearly doesn't want us to see at a better resolution than what the WAPO release. So they just cut it out. This means the public can view only 50.001% of 815's recorded field of view for the entire video that they gave us, for only 30.5% of what we know to be the original still frame count, or at least as many as we know to exist currently from the WAPO release. Additionally, 815 was recorded at a higher resolution than either version released to date, and we know that because of the shoe image. They haven't given us the best quality they have of this video yet. At minimum, the step down is UHD TV to full HD, giving us an average reduction in pixels per inch of 50%. It's basically 50%, no matter what the scale is. So, quick math. To date, the FBI has given the public access to less than 7.625% of the 815 pipe bomb suspect video. 50.001% of the field of view times 30.5% of the known video still frames times 50% of the PPI. The FBI tampered with 815's field of view. They cut 230 still frames from the video. They then altered the play speed of that video to match the WAPO's 815 and reduced the quality of their image and video releases with the J7 images, showing premeditation to tamper with future case evidence because they were planning on not giving us the video. Then the WAPO released it, then they had to release it. They were stuck at that point. It took them 8 months to figure out how to do it, but they still tampered with everything in the process. And the altering the play speed of the video they released once they took out 230 still frames from it shows that they had took actions to cover up the fact that they were tampering with this evidence. We've seen evidence showing the FBI planned to tamper with J6 case evidence, then tampered with said case evidence in at least 6 different ways, then attempted to cover up the fact that they tampered with this evidence. We also learned why the FBI is lying about the pipe bomber shoes, but we still don't know why the FBI doesn't want us to know about 815. It's fake. Let me show you. 8:15 p.m. This is the block where the RNC is. Watch any version of 815 and you'd be hard-pressed to find more than one shadow cast by the suspect. The light source for the suspect's shadow is the HPS bulb in the Cobra head cutoff fixture on the DC-5A type 28-foot 6-inch alley pole, the lower half of which is visible behind the closest vehicle viewer's right. The SUV behind the suspect, though, casts 4 shadows from 4 different light sources. And the suspect's walking right down the alley on the other side of the alley as all 4 of those vehicles. He should be casting more than one shadow. So you can see here where the 4 shadows are coming from. I've tried to mock that up. And then I did a whole bunch of work trying to figure out what the best way was to accurately calculate or figure out whether or not this video was real. And you can look at the reflection of the light off the car, where the light pole is, and try to calculate exactly that location, and it can get very complicated. What it really comes down to is we know that the suspect's shadow comes from that light source. We know that the light source is above the car. We can get a really good location on the light source by following the shadow, one of the 4 shadows that we get from the SUV behind the suspect. And when you run that shadow up, it shows us where the light source is. And then we can test the suspect's shadows throughout the whole video to determine whether or not the video is authentic, right? And when you do that, you run that up, what you see is that the suspect's shadow is not even close to the light source, and there is no other light source here. So this, and you can see that in multiple frames. This video is fake. This video is a fake video. And in case that wasn't enough for you, there's a section of this. This is the WAPO release, where we get all the frames. And what you get here is you get, basically it's almost like stop motion. You get the suspect will move in one still frame, and then you'll have a bunch of edits that shift things around in the next still frame. And then the suspect will move in the frame after that, right? Well, that would never be possible. Like, you can't record that. Having the arm, the shirt, the floor, the cement, all of that makes shifts while the suspect stands motionless. And we're supposed to believe that he's walking along. It's just impossible. So from that also we know this video is fake. In addition to that, I had found a comm, I think yesterday when I found it, on my computer. I had it, I found it a long time ago. Marked what it was, and put it away because I didn't have time for it. But today's the right day to put it out. So here it is. What it is it's a comm from that video that says Carlin Younger is the pipe bomber. So we know 815 is fake, right? Well, there's 6 other videos that the FBI has released in this case. One of them you can only get in a compilation that they have on FBI.gov, but they are all up on their site. We're looking at through every one of them that they've released so far today. Here we have a list of the videos that they have released so far in no particular order. This is what the screenshots of those videos look like. So the next video we're going to look at is, this was recorded, one of the DNC video recordings. 744 has a bunch of anomalies in it, and I'm just going to point out some of them. There should be no face on the suspect's backpack. Again, they're just mocking us. In this frame, you can see the suspect's lower right leg looks to be unattached at the knee and deformed from that point down. And a bit of pedal pedantry here, but the suspect's leg position in frame 786 would most easily occur if the suspect were walking backwards and turning while stepping forward, backward, however that works, in order to place the next step. And they are. These videos are made in all sorts of crazy ways, using all sorts of different types of animation and reel, incorporating all of it together in kind of a mesh so that it's really hard to make out what's going on in these videos. All of the videos released by the FBI so far. And it's hard to not get into certain topics because I'm not supposed to talk about like the children and stuff like that. But they are having models for these videos walk backwards, and they do that because the AI can better animate faces on the back of a head because there's no features there. It can be smooth, so it's easier to have someone walking backwards forward, right? Look, so it looks like they're walking forward but they're backward, so that they can animate the face onto the back of their head without having to deal with the size or the formation of the nose, all the different angles and stuff. It's just a nice flat surface they can work with. That's why they do it. That's what we're actually seeing here. And again, they're just mocking us. And here in this frame 82, you can see the suspect's lower left leg has just been cut off. It's not bent back. He's not like mid-step. They've just taken it out and left it there for us to find, right? So 844 is a fake video, 2 of 7. Let's take a look at 814. This was recorded right before 815 was recorded. I'll show you later the pathway that the suspect took, but he walked around the block, came by a couple times, and so we have 814. It's the video taken by the RNC camera through the access alley that runs between the main road at the front of the RNC, between the front of the RNC and the Capitol Hill Club. Here, looking down the access alley, you can see the lamp, and where the bulb is, it's directly over the center, basically, of the access alley. You can see in this shot, all of the suspect's body has passed under the lamp bulb for the lower right leg, yet 90% of her shadow has not. And this is impossible. And here, the suspect's mid-step, if you look at his hips are just Like, they've been shifted over so far, and it's so high up, you know, it's right at the tailbone. It makes no sense to me at all. It shouldn't be shifted over that far. They're showing his leg as far down as his other foot, and it seems to be that they're right in line with each other. But to get a shot like this, you would have to have his leg lifted up almost, you know, above a 45-degree angle. And so this, again, this is just not possible. Here they have two basically like spikes or supports that stick up out of the cement. And so we're going to look at the shadows that are put off by that. To create these ramp support shadows, the light source should be directly above and forward. It is not. The lamp bulb is ahead and to the left, and so the shadows should kick out further to the right. Now we're going to look at bolts, some wall bolts. Seeing as the light source is back and left, the shadows cast by these wall bolts shouldn't be vertical. They can't be straight up and down. They should have to have some amount of angle to them, but they don't. They're just straight. So from all this, we know that 814 is a fake video, 3 of 7. Next, we're going to look at one. I just call them by their times mostly. Circa. This one doesn't give us a timestamp. The timestamps don't even work. They're just pictures of a time, and it's stupid. It's all just a joke. But this one just says, I think this one, the FBI, going from the FBI's video of where the suspect was at certain times, this had to have happened around 7:36 p.m. So I just write circa 7:36 p.m. All right. It's a house on the path, on the block that the DNC is on. And here I've cropped up and zoomed in on a shot, slowed it down, of the suspect walking in this video. And you may have to watch this quite a bit. What he's doing, what they've cropped into all this, is the suspect is spinning around in a circle as he walks forward, right? And there's probably another person with him, or this is definitely not something that was just recorded by a security camera, and you can tell that just by looking at it. It also actually backs up frames at one point. It would never happen in reality. And then when you start to actually look at the different shadows and calculate where the lamppost is, the one over here on the viewer's right just doesn't match up at all. There's also a thing where if you look at the shadow on the right, where that shadow doesn't line up correctly in the video, the shadow also jumps on the pathway. I mean, it just literally jumps from one to another, in one frame to the next. All of this stuff is impossible. So we know that this video also is a fake video. What's that make? 4 or 7. Next video we're going to look at 752. This is another DNC recorded video. Revolver.news did a bunch of workups on these videos, but they didn't have one to compare with, like 815, like we did at the start of this one. So we couldn't actually prove that the FBI had tampered with case evidence, right? But now that we have 815 and that it was released by 2 sources, they've tampered with 815 in every way possible. They've tampered with it. So maybe not every way, but you know what I mean. So 752, here what I've done is, you can see I just took a cropped image and blew it up and put it over this shot of a section of the bush that you see in the still frame of this image, right? And when I highlight some of this stuff for you, just so you can see it better, what you have here is you have a kid, a young man, right, who is handing or is holding what is a pipe bomb, right? What the deep state has depicted in all sorts of different ways as, you know, their long pipe with the round timer on it. You know, you've seen those pictures probably if you've looked at any of the J6 evidence, pipe bomb evidence. So in this frame, you can see that there's a picture of a kid in the bush, right? It's edited into it. And when you figure out what he's looking at, he's like handing it to or he's getting it from some demon or some horned, I don't know. It's creepy stuff. We are dealing with Satanists here. You know, we're dealing with satanic pedophiles. It's just going to come out eventually. So I'm not going to try and talk about all that right now. But this is the stuff that's in these videos, and they find it to be hilarious. You know, and so this right here, we know that this video is bullshit also. But there are also comms in this video. There's one that says Epstein is in witness protection. I think it says U.S. Epstein is in U.S. witness protection, right? There's another one that says JFK Jr. is alive. My favorite, 100%. It's going to be true. And then I just found a comm recently that says, these are all lies to distract Americans from the stolen election. I've also found this comm, exactly this comm, in the Pelosi hammer attack video, the recording from the cop warn cam. I just didn't have time to work it up, but I had time to work this one up, so I did. Here it is. There we go. 752 is a fake video. That's 5 of 7. Next, we're going to look at the timestamp on this. It doesn't move. It just says 7:40:33 throughout the entire video. Again, they're just mocking us, you know. This is a very strange video, but if you slow it down, there's some extreme oddities to it. Here you just see the suspect. I've sort of blown this up, cropped the shot. You can see the suspect lifting something up, and then I've highlighted for you what he's showing us is a little, you know, a caricature, I guess I would call it, of a baby, right? I mean, that's what these guys are doing. It all revolves around the abuse of children, right? All of this stuff, and so that's what they're showing us. They're just showing us here that that's what this is, right? The pipe bombs are actually representative of, right? Because their symbolism will be their downfall, right? Well, what the symbolism is the pipe bombs are symbolic of babies, right? And that's what's going on here. That's why they're showing us this. And there is a, as you can see in this next shot, this suspect is like dropping something off, right? A pipe bomb, right? A baby, right? Behind a false wall in a staircase. Now, I don't know if that's, I doubt that's still there. Maybe it is, who knows? But that's what they're showing us. This is all made to show us that there is child trafficking going on in DC, right? That's what they're telling us. And then when you get to this video, there's a part of it where just this door in the building and the sidewalk, this whole part here, like it shifts. It gets like almost cut off by like 2 feet, and then it gets put back in the video. This again is something that you would never have happen in real life. Just wouldn't be recorded that way. There's not even like an error that you could have that would cause something like this. So there we go, 7:40:33 is a fake video. And then the last video we have, recorded at the Capitol Hill Club. It also, the timestamp here just says 8:14:21. And you see in this still frame 98, you can see the suspect's front feet are larger than the back in every step. And in this frame, right as he passes that bar, you can see that, as I've already talked about how they have people walk backwards, but here you can see a prosthetic being worn, and it's being worn backwards. So what I did is I used a Sobel edge to try and clear up the image. And you can see that indeed the portion of this animated character in this video does incorporate the use of a runner's prosthetic. It's backwards. Why is it backwards? I guess I've already kind of answered that earlier. It's because these are, there are people who are forced to help participate in the production of these videos. Those people are forced to walk backwards. That's as far as I'm going to take that right now. But that's what you're seeing here. The fact that you have a prosthetic being worn in this video by a suspect who doesn't wear one. I mean, it's just, again, they're mocking us. This video is fake. And I also found in this video, same comm as what I showed you in 8:15. It's a comm that says, pipe bomber is Carl Jr. So there we have 2 comms that tell us specifically who the pipe bomber is. And now we know that every single video that's been released by the FBI so far, in this case, is a digital forgery. All of these videos are fake. Every single video that the FBI has released so far in this case is fake. And they've taken extreme steps to plan and then tamper with evidence and then hide the fact that they tampered with evidence. One more thing I want to show you is there are 2 additional unreleased RNC recorded videos of the DC J5, J6 pipe bomb suspect. When you look at one of the FBI's compilations that they did that shows the suspect's path when he went and distributed the pipe bombs, right? They show, you can see here, that he goes past he goes from the alley out to the front of the RNC, and then walks around the block, and then comes back. And so he passes the 815 camera 3 times, right? Because he walks once, goes through the alley, goes around the block, comes back, passes through 815's field of view, plants the pipe bomb, and then comes back through it walking the other direction. That's what the FBI showed us, and we can also see that in this image right here of this backpack. There's another one online you can also see. This was cropped from a video recorded by the same camera as 815, right? That shows the suspect walking the other direction. And they've never released any of this to us other than this cropped image. And there's another one up on FBI.gov that's a larger shot. And I can match that. This is the shot the FBI released. And I can match that right into, exactly where the bricks go, into the 815 field of view. So I know that there are 2 other 815 camera recorded videos that the RNC recorded, that we know the FBI, their job is to gather evidence, right? They have it, and they just haven't released it to us. So including the DNC recorded video that was discovered and reported on by Revolver.news, believed likely to show the suspect placing the DNC device. If that's what happened, I don't think it is. We now have 3 DC pipe bomb suspect videos that should by any measure be in FBI custody, yet have never been released to the public. So what have we learned? We learned the FBI tampered with J5, J6 DC pipe bomb case evidence in at least 6 different ways. The evidence tampering was premeditated, and attempts were made to conceal these actions from the public when they changed the speed of the video. We learned Nancy Pelosi was a Frazzledrip doctor. We also learned every single suspect video the FBI has published to date in their DC pipe bomber investigation is fake. And I didn't mark this out, but we also now know who the pipe bomber is. So, there you go. That was one thing everybody wanted to know. And then based on current federal procedure for investigation, right, the evidence and other information available in this case, the FBI has 3 additional DNC, RNC, CCTV recorded J5, J6 pipe bomb suspect videos that have never been released to the public. So there you go, America. FBI Director Wray. You guys are releasing fake videos as case evidence, so I'm really not going to just send you a video and tell you who the pipe bomber is. I'm going to publish it in this video. And so, balls in your court, sir. Peace out, everybody. Have a good day.